This is Leo J. Bailey from the Brew World Order, and you're watching Exit 12 Homebrew. In the house!
Hey man, what's wrong with you?
All right, the water's all heated up. We're gonna start by adding 1¼ gram of calcium chloride and 4.85 grams of gypsum. We like to play with our water chemistry here at Exit 12. We use distilled water, so every single beer we make, we have to build up a profile. The reason why we went with those numbers for our water chemistry is because we use those on our Always Faithful West Coast IPA, and it came out really well. It really accentuated the malt, and then you know, with the hops that we added, really kind of softened up, it seemed, that the bitterness of that beer. Generally with New England IPAs, you want it in the opposite end of the spectrum. But with West Coast IPAs, they're clear, they're bitter, and they really accentuate the malt. And that's what we're trying to do here today. I don't know what it is about this grain mill. It always feels like it leaves a lot of residual grain particles, which could be sugars, inside the grain mill. I don't know if it was the way it was built or what. So oftentimes I have to spend a few minutes with a paintbrush, just brushing out the bottom, getting all the sugars. We found that our numbers go up quite significantly when we do this. Just so you can see what I'm referring to, all of that is grain particles that were left in the mill. Usually we just clean that out outside because of the dust, but we think that it's been adding to the ABV of our beers, at least the gravities for sure. All right, let's mash in on the Guava Pale Ale. You can see there's the mash. Just got done mashing in pale ale, so it was very easy. The mash was a little bit thicker than I thought it would be. But overall, we are rocking and we're ready to go. All right, what we like to do is let our beer sit for 10 minutes, let the grain bed settle, and then we turn on the pump. make sure the pump is in the unit first. I'm gonna let the pump run for about 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna grab a sample to run pH. I'm gonna let that sample cool in the freezer for 5 minutes. As everyone knows, we're doing a double brew day. Here is where we heat our sparge water now. We are utilizing all 3 of our all-in-one systems. Okay, as you can see, we're sitting at around 5.6. Oh, it's going down. 5.5 is the top of the range of where we want to be at with our pH. So I'm gonna add a little bit, just a little bit of baking soda, and then we'll take another reading. On the nose, 5.3. I'd say we're good there. All right, we're at mash out. As you can see, 60 minutes is up. That means we're gonna mash this out at 170. Oops. I'm gonna set this to 170, and once it gets up to 170, we're gonna let it mash for 10 minutes. And just to show you real quick, as our alarm goes off for the second beer, this thing is running so clear. Really loving how it's running right now. This looks like it has the potential to be a true West Coast IPA. We have reached our full mash out at 10 minutes. We're gonna stop the pump, which I already did. And we're gonna pull up the malt pipe, and we're gonna start to sparge. If you watch our videos constantly, if you're a regular watcher of our videos, you know that this is the bane of my existence, this Robobrew malt pipe. So I'm doing it. So Brandon's gonna do it.
I see Mr. Gummy Arms over here trying to do it. Although this is a pail, so it's not too bad.
Only 9 pounds of grain, so he should be able to handle it. I'm gonna pull a sample of first runnings to get a gravity reading just to see where we're at. That sweet, sweet wort. So one thing we like to do as we're sparging, we like to bring the beer up to a boil. So with the Robobrew, what we generally like to do is set it a little bit higher than boiling so that the elements are constantly going. What we find is when you set it at boiling, if it gets to boiling, the elements tend to turn off, or at least one of them does, the 1000 watt element. So we set it to 217, and this thing's gonna start to heat up. Time to sparge. Okay, that's the 60-minute alarm, the 60-minute horn, the 60-minute notification, whatever you want to call it. We're going in with an ounce of Centennial hops at the 60-minute mark. Brandon and I decided, because we're a little high on volume, we're shooting for 5.5 gallons. We ended up getting 5.8 gallons, so what we ended up doing was boiling for 30 minutes extra, so a 90-minute boil. And at the 60-minute mark, we just added these hops. All right, we are just about at the 80-minute mark of this 90-minute boil. we're gonna add 1 full Whirlfloc tablet and half a tablespoon of yeast nutrient.
This is on the Guava Pale Ale.
That's the 5-minute mark, 85 minutes into the boil. We're adding just under an ounce of Centennial. Ah, smell-o-vision.
Oh yeah.
So at the 5-minute mark, we're adding more Centennial in order to boost up the bitterness, but also boost up the bitterness a little bit, but also add some nice aroma to it as well. Classic of the West Coast Pale Ale IPA style, late boil hop additions. Kavalabang. We're gonna turn the burners off. 90 minutes is up. And we're gonna add a flame out 1 ounce of Cascade and 1 ounce of Centennial. I'm gonna let this go for a minute, cool this thing down, and then we're gonna pitch the yeast. So let's get started, bang. Dave, I love the angle. It's perfect. You can see everything.
Yeah.
You goddamn Mo.
Oh, you're freaking, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, boys. That's all I'm gonna say on camera. Go Bills!
All right. So we're gonna keg the Guava Pale Ale, and we're going to ferment in a keg. But to avoid some blow off, we are going to put in a few drops of foam cap. Let's just do 3. Boom. Foam cap.
Brandon's got a little bit of a surprise for old Leo J. Bailey.
Oh no,
Something that we think is pretty cool.
this is not gonna be good. What the hell is that?
Isn't that cool? It's a BWO flag.
That is amazing.
It doesn't even remotely fit. The size of it does not come over well on camera. It's gigantic.
It looks huge.
It's huge. So we may.
What are your thoughts on us shipping this to you and you can use it?
I will have to make that work behind me on my shelf system somehow
Okay.
or another.
Because when we saw it, it's a little too big, so we'll just send it to you. Where do you want me to leave it?
We also have one for Exit 12 we're going to put up, but you can leave it in there. And next beer box or whatever the case may be, we'll ship it over to you.
My God, man, that thing is freaking amazing. Yeah, I don't care. I'll change where I do my recordings.
Hey, you want
Everything behind me.
All right, it's time to pitch the yeast on the Guava Pale Ale. Looking at the OG, depending on how low we get, how low we attenuate, this could be the Guava IPA. Our OG was supposed to be in the 0.53 range, I think. We finished at 0.60 for our OG. So this is a yeast slur E of Maniacal Yeast Citrus King, which the yeast itself, they say hopped heavily makes a great New England IPA. We're going for a West Coast. We threw in a Whirlfloc tablet. We'll be cold crashing. We'll see how clear we can actually get it. But either way, we're very excited. So let's pitch some yeast.
Give it a little mixy. A little double time look.
Okay, we brewed these beers on Saturday. Pitched the yeast around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It is now Monday evening. And these things are well on their way. This is the Guava Pale Ale. sitting at a comfortable 10 psi. We're very excited about both of these beers. We're going to be dry hopping this beer here, the Guava Pale Ale, soon enough. But looking good so far, well on our way. Okay, it is Wednesday afternoon. It is time to take a sample for a hydrometer reading of the Guava Pale Ale. If we find that we're at terminal gravity or close to it, we will likely dry hop tomorrow for 24 hours. And then we're going to cold crash. We'll also be adding in the guava flavoring as well. So we'll show you our process behind how we take a sample. Okay, first things first, plastic red solo cup. It's imperative you have one of these, or anything to put the beer in that isn't the hydrometer. And then secondly, we have this little doohickey that I purchased from my homebrew store some years ago, and it's actually one of the better pieces of equipment that we have. It's basically just a ball lock connection, connected to some tubing with a little picnic tap. And this will easily allow us to pull out beer. Right now this has some food grade sanitizer in it. So we're gonna take out the food grade sanitizer, utilizing the air that's already in the keg. Sample off. And because the food grade sanitizer was in the line already, we're not going to utilize it for a sample. That smells very malty though, which is great. It's exactly what we were going for. I'm going to try as slowly as I can to avoid foam. Foam is something that's always going to be, it's going to be tough at 10 psi not to pull foam out of a keg that may or may not still be fermenting. There we go. Got a towel down here, you can't see it, to catch the drips. There she is, a lot of foam, but I'll show you one way that we try to get rid of that. This is what I like to call the Brian short-circuited method. I got this from Brian watching one of his videos, Short-Circuited Brewing, member of the BrewTubers Online Brewers Club, which is pretty cool. He's an awesome guy, I've met him in person. But what he does is he takes a coffee filter, attaches it to a glass, and because the beer is carbonated, it can be difficult to get an accurate reading. This helps degas the beer. And as it runs through the filter, it helps take out some of that carbonation. It flattens it out so you can get an accurate reading. Depending on the beer, generally with New England IPAs with a lot of hops, filtering goes a lot slower. But this thing looks like it's filtering relatively quickly. So we're gonna put this in the hydrometer and get a reading. Okay, so we have our sample here that has been put through a fine coffee filter. And as you can see, it is looking cloudy AF. Not what I expected out of a West Coast. Even with the Whirlfloc tablet that we use. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we cold crash this. We have a torpedo in that keg, so it's pulling off of the top of the keg, off of the top of the beer. So we're a little surprised that it's this cloudy, but it's going to be interesting to see what the finished beer looks like, and also additionally what the hydrometer sample reads. And so the way we do that, we have the hydrometer sitting in the tube, and all we do is try not to make a mess if we can. Just pour it in. and this little bit is going to be good to sample off of. As you can see, this is sitting at about 0.18, I'd say. 0.18, 0.19. So what we're going to do is put some calculations together and figure out what the ABV is at. We were looking in the Pale Ale range. So based on the OG, this may be sweet, which is what we want. Thought it would attenuate down a little bit more, but 0.18 could be where it's done. Okay, it's Wednesday night. Spoke to Brandon. He said, listen, we were gonna test some of this guava fruit extract, but he said, listen, just do it without me, not a big deal. So we're at terminal pretty much on this Guava Pale Ale. So I'm gonna add 0.2 ounces of this fresh guava flavoring from one-on-one flavors. We've used them a few times. Really excited about it. And then we're gonna go in on a dry hop with 1 ounce of Cascade and 1 ounce of Amarillo. We're gonna dry hop this, add the flavoring for a total of 24 hours. Then we're gonna cold crash, and then we're gonna keg it. So let's dry hop and add the flavoring. I'm gonna cut this package of hops open. I did hit the scissors as well as the package with a little bit of Star Sand from 5 Star, an official sponsor. Oh, this smells fantastic. So we have to let the pressure out on this. Pop it open very quickly. Here. And in the bountiful amount of hops and the 0.2 ounces of guava extract. Boom. Now one thing I am going to do is I'm going to put this back on gas because we're fermenting in the keg. We just want to make sure that, you know, no air, no oxygen got in, and if it did, even just that 5 is probably too much, but hoping that any oxygen that was in the keg escaped. Do it real quick. I'm gonna put spunding valve back on. And it's pretty much sitting perfectly at 10 PSI, a little bit of gas coming out, but that'll adjust and we're good to go for 24 hours and then we cold crash. Quickly before I forget, one thing I do want to do, just move this back and forth a little bit, get the hops mixed in, get that guava fruit extract mixed in. That should be plenty. Now we're gonna let it sit for 24 hours. It'll be interesting to see how this pours, because it looks, at least going through the tube, surprisingly clear. But we'll see.
All right, we're here. It's the tasting. Take 2, because this idiot didn't press record. We went about
So rude.
halfway through the review.
That's so rude. We didn't. The good thing is we didn't smell. We were just on what it looks like.
Just on appearance.
We're good.
So let's take a quick look at this. And as you can tell, very clear. You can see right through it. So as we mentioned, we did use Maniacal Yeast Labs Citrus King, Maniacal out of Maine.
Yep.
Local yeast proprietor. And so there was no information in regards to the flocculation level.
Yeah.
It just said that in the description it's good for hoppy beers. So I said, let's experiment. Homebrewing's about experimentation. Let's give it a try. Let's see how clear we can get it. Added a Whirlfloc tablet, cold crashed it for 10 days. Nada.
Nope. Nope.
Yeast is not having it. So as you saw, the thing is golden on golden.
Yep.
Excited about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I poured it, like bringing him this glass, I smell the mango. The mango is huge.
Yep.
We added 0.2 ounces. They come in 0.3 ounce capsules from one-on-one flavoring. 0.2 ounces, about 0.25 ounces of mango guava. It's a Guava Pale Ale.
Yep.
Smell huge mango though. No, it's guava. And so 0.25 ounces of the flavoring.
Yes. Yeah. And like I said, I have it about a little bit from my nose, and I can smell it pretty predominantly right now. The aroma is coming through really well. We really love those one-on-one flavoring extracts. Those things are freaking awesome.
Yeah, we use the blueberry and we love it. So let's get a nose on this.
Let's get a nose on it.
Yeah, the flavoring.
It's insane how fruity it smells. It smells like a pack of juicy fruit.
Huge guava.
Humongous. This is definitely an aroma is humongous on the guava, the tropical fruits. It's just a huge flavor burst right on the nose.
I don't get much else. This is what Saturday morning cartoons should have been.
Yeah.
With the Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
And it's my fault. I didn't add enough Fruity Pebble flavor.
Yeah, with the extracts, you don't know. Going too far with it can really ruin your beer, and more so than going a little less on it. It's just a little more subdued. But going a little too far with it, we're just trying to find our sweet spot with some of these extracts. But based off the aroma of this, it is giving us the exact aroma we were looking for.
Ripe guava, exactly the aroma we're looking for, like you said.
Insane.
I don't even know if there's anything we're getting off the hops because it's just got so much guava.
Yeah, it's just
Oh my god, that juicy fruit is like kind of spot on the back end. It's really juicy fruit, but in the front end, it's this really, really, really ripe guava.
Yep.
All right, this is perfect for the summertime. It's 95 degrees
Oh,
today.
it's insane.
Cheers. L'chaim.
Try. Wow. So, just like on the aroma, all I'm getting is that really, really, really ripe guava. It's got a nice. The one thing about it is with the grist that we used and trying to make it into like more of a West Coast style, it doesn't have that. It's mouth coating, but it ends slick, like a West Coast IPA would. So it's not as mouth coating, but I kind of like it. It's kind of refreshing. It gives you a huge fruit burst up front, and then it's like this nice little back end hit. Like it just slides right off the palate.
I think you nailed that. That was pretty perfect. He's getting a lot better with his descriptions. He nailed that. I think for me, nailed it on the mouthfeel. It's not like a New England IPA by any stretch, and it's not supposed to be. We didn't salt it like it should be. But it does have a little bit of that characteristic.
Yeah.
And then you carry through, you got guava in the front, guava in like the middle, but you have this underlying bitterness because we did hop at 60, we hopped at 30, I believe, and maybe at 5, I'd have to look back at the recipe. And we did dry hop, so it definitely has the hop characteristic on the back end.
Yeah,
I think you can confuse that for heavy bitterness, but it's the hop aspect through and through.
Yeah, I think for what we were looking for, which is a highly fruited beer, which is this juice bomb, this thing is pretty crazy. I would like to, it looks like a New England, it looks like a hazy. It's sort of like Nick said and how we named it. It drinks like a hybrid. I'd be really interested to even try this with, say, I think it could go either way. If we did a crisp yeast, I think this would be an insane, refreshing thing. If you wanted to go hazy and make it all fruit bomb, you could do that as well. Like, there's so many different directions you can go with this beer, but this thing is awesome.
I will say it leaves a little bit to be desired in that I wish that we had used a different yeast that brought out the clarity and really didn't make it taste so dank.
Yeah, I think that definitely, it wasn't what we were going for. We wanted to have that little bit of crispness and that little, IPA yeasty bite at the end, you know what I mean? Make it have a little more character there. But, and like you said, we pinpointed exactly what it was. It's the yeast. But yeah, this thing's just a fruit bomb.
Big thanks to One-on-One Flavors. I guess that was
awesome.
Pretty amazing. Fantastic beer. Interesting the way that we ended up having to keg it. We all run through issues as homebrewers. I showed a little bit of the kegging process in the video, I believe, but what I didn't show was that fermenting in a keg is something we're still dialing in. And about 1.5 gallons into kegging, it just stopped. The poppet was on the keg was full, the keg post inside the poppet full of hops. I had to take it off, rinse it out, sanitize it, put it back on, and I was just getting straight foam. Your boy got so frustrated, I took a strainer, put it over the finishing keg, picked up the keg and just dumped it out right into the finishing keg.
Wishing for some oxidation.
Wishing for oxidation. As you can tell, far from it. Far from it. You do the right things, no cold side oxidation in this sumbee.
Nope.
Just a really fascinating beer. I would never brew this again. Just because I don't care for the hybrid concept. I like to go to style.
I think it would definitely, you're right. I don't think we would brew exactly this. We would never seek out that same yeast or a yeast that was similar to that. I would brew this again minus the yeast.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah, because I'd be interested to see what it tastes like as a traditional West Coast. So.
Yep.
We got the Bruins playoff game on behind us, Stanley Cup playoffs. We're gonna go sit down Monday night, have a couple bevies, hang out, catch up, and move towards having a smooth evening with this fantastic beer.
Follow the Exit 12 Homebrew Craft Beer and Lifestyle podcast. We got some great things coming up. Go do that. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. I don't think we said that, but do it. We'll see you soon.
We don't need to tell them to subscribe to the channel. They just know to do it, baby!